Hello fashionistas, welcome back to my channel. In today's video we're going to be learning how to draft a vintage shirt, and this tutorial is beginners friendly, so do stick around and watch the video to the end. So from the center front of my pattern paper, I'm marking 5 inches, and I'm going to mark that to the full length of my shirt. You can have your pattern paper on fold if you want to draft this shirt, but my pattern paper is not on fold, so this is optional. The 5-inch we marked out on the center front, I'm going to fold it in as shown, and this will be for the lapel. This is the front part of this shirt. We are drafting the front part first. Now after folding, I'm going to take my tape to the top of my pattern paper, and I'm going to be marking out 3 inches, and this is for the shoulder slope. After marking, I'm going to connect it to the neckline as shown. I'll place my tape on my shoulder line, and I'll take the full length of my shirt plus 1 inch folding allowance. For the width of my shirt, I'm going to be using my hip measurement plus 3 inches allowance. So my hip measurement is 41 inches plus 3 inches allowance. That is what I marked there, and that is what I will be using for the width of my shirt. So you can use your waist measurement, whichever one you want to use, and it depends on how big you want your shirt to be. Now after connecting my bodies together, I'm going to cut this out. Now after cutting, I'm going to place my front piece on top of my back piece as shown, and I'll take out my shoulder slope. My back piece is longer than my front piece, so if you want to draft this directly on your fabric or you are using a pattern paper, make sure your back piece is longer than the front piece. So after taking out my shoulder slope for the front piece, I'll be marking 3 inches upward. Remember, we took out 3 inches for our shoulder slope for the front piece. So after marking 3 inches, I'm still going to connect it to the neckline with my ruler. Now on our front piece, I'm going to come down from my shoulder line by 0.5 inch, and I'm going to mark a straight line to the neckline. Now, after marking 1/2 inch on the front part, I'm going to take my back part and we're going to lay it down flat on that 1/2 inch mark that we marked earlier. I forgot to mention that when attaching your front piece to the back piece, your pattern paper, make sure that the bottom part of your top is equal, just that the upper part, the back part, will be longer than the front, but the bottom part should be equal. Then when you slant your paper like this, everything is going to be equal. So I'm going to take my shoulder measurement plus 1/2 inch. My shoulder measurement divided by 2 is 7.5. I'm going to add 0.5 to that, making it 8 inches, and I'm going to mark that. Now after marking that, I'm going to use my shoulder measurement divided by 2 for my armhole, which is 7.5. And I'm going to connect that with a straight line. When you want to mark your shoulder measurement, you start from the top of your paper. From the top of my paper, I'm going to divide what I have on my armhole into 2. I'm going to make a mark at that, and I'll come in by 0.5 inch, and that will be for the armhole curve for the front part. So I'm just imputing my hip measurement divided by 4, and I'm going to mark that. So I'll make a slant from the top of my paper to that point we marked, and I'm going to connect it to the armhole line. So the straight one is for the back armhole, the back piece, and the one with the curve is for the front. Now let's get to our neckline. For my neck circumference, I'm using 18 inches. You can use 17 inches. So to get our round neckline on our pattern paper, I'm going to divide 18 inches by 4. And that will be for my neck depth. And when I want to place it, I'll place it from the beginning of my pattern paper. I'll mark what I have. Now for my neck width, I will divide what I have for my neck depth by 2 again, and that will be for the neck width. So if your neck depth is 4 inches, after dividing your neck circumference by 4, divide that 4 inches again into 2, and that will be for your neck width. So I'm just going to draw a line as shown, and I will use my curve to get a round neckline. When you are cutting on your neckline, do not cut everything together. I'm cutting the front separately as shown. So when you want to cut, please be careful. So I'm going to cut out the front neckline first, and for the back neckline, I'm going to cut it a little and I'll open it up. Now from that point, I'm going to come down by 1 inch, and that will be the neck depth for the back. Now after cutting the neckline, I'll go ahead to cut the armhole. So I'll cut the back armhole first, then I'll remove my front piece and cut the front armhole. After I'm done cutting the pattern, I'm going to transfer on my fabric. When you want to cut on your fabric, place your fabric on fold and cut. Do not cut one piece. So you're just going to place your fabric on fold. You place your pattern paper on top and just trace out the pattern on the fabric. And if you do not want to use a pattern paper for this project, you can just draft directly on your fabric. I'm just doing this for clarity. So this is the back piece that I'm cutting out. Here is the back piece after cutting it out. So I'll just go ahead now and cut the front piece. Here is the front piece, and this is what it is looking like after cutting. I hope you find this tutorial very helpful, and if you have watched this video to this point, please give this video a thumbs up. Do not forget to subscribe and also share. Leave your comments in the comment section if you have any question. We'll be sewing this shirt in our next video. I do not want the video to be too long, so we're going to be sewing this in our next video. So I'm going to be adding hairstay to that 5" for the lapel, and we're going to continue sewing this shirt in our next video. Thank you so much for watching. Do have a nice day. Bye.